Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zo. Cantu is on the other side. March 5th, this beautiful Wednesday night. Happy hump day to everybody listening to the pod this night, Cap. And if you're listening to this in Thursday morning, then hopefully you're having a great start before the weekend is here. But the month of March, you got rodeo going on. Astros opening day is pretty soon. As of tonight, it's 22 days. As of tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Thursday, then it's going to be 21 days. So baseball is like literally around the corner. And not to mention the World Baseball Classic is a year away from happening at Geiken Park.
Yeah, baseball season might not be fully here, but spring training is off the bat. College baseball, huge upsets have been going on. Unfortunately, Texas A&M has been on the short end of those a few times, right? But what a phenomenal day of, what a phenomenal month of like baseball coming up, and it's a season, golfing weather, coming to spring break, like you said, rodeo. So a lot of good stuff happening in March.
And then also, too, it's a little bit cool outside.
Yeah.
When is that not a storyline in Houston?
Yeah.
Hot cold.
Yeah. I like it, though. I like this weather so far.
Yeah, it's not too cold. It's not too hot. I was cutting grass the other day in this weather, and it was amazing outside. Shorts, it's like Michael Harris II said with the Braves. A long sleeve with some shorts is an underrated fitting. Just straight up.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's what I got on right now. I got my Whataburger Magellan shirt on.
Oh, you know what? I just had Whataburger a few hours ago. I got the water catch, because of Lent. So the little fish fry.
How we're grading that water fish? I've had the McDonald's fish fillet.
Definitely better than the McDonald's one, I would say for sure.
Okay.
But I'll give it like maybe a 8.7 out of 10.
8.7, like 8.7, or you're going to from an 8 to a 7?
No, I'd say 7. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. I mean, I don't think the fillet of fish is bad at McDonald's. I think it's still good.
It's not, but I mean,
it gets the job done. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
But that's what I was telling you today. Like, I was building up with a bunch of omega fish oils today. I've had a salmon patty. I had lemon pepper tuna with crackers, and I just had tuna patties for freaking dinner. Like, the omega 3, 6s, and 9s are pretty set in my body as of right now.
Nice.
So happy Lent to everybody, whoever celebrates. If you are a Catholic, episode 241, can Cam Smith crack the roster this year, man? Because this kid has been on a roll. He's been the storyline of spring training for the Astros, I would say, besides Jose Altuve playing left field. Cam Smith, as of right now, 7 at-bats. It's a minimum of what we're seeing, a little small sample size, but the way he's been like putting his at-bats, his approach at the plate, it's looking like a professional big leaguer ready to go for opening day.
Absolutely. I think people knew the talent was there, and people knew eventually Cam Smith will be in the Astros uniform, but the way he's come out, kind of taking the league by storm, like, you kind of knew this prospect was good, but I think he's opening a lot of eyes and creating a lot of excitement and buzz for the Astros and Astros fans, because it's like he's been shot out of a cannon, just firing on all cylinders right now. And I get it. It's spring training. A lot of guys show promise in spring training and then can't replicate it in the major leagues. But I think Cam Smith's just on a different level right now, different planet.
Yeah, the way he's just been smoking the ball, like I said, the approach at the plate. We got a video of Joe Espada talking about how Cam Smith has impressed him so far. For our agenda, we got the injury updates because there's a huge one happening as of right now. I don't know if it's major, minor. Nobody knows the results until later on, probably tomorrow night more than anything. We have some roster moves as well, and then around the horn. So nothing too big, I would say, for tonight's episode. The only thing more big would probably be Cam Smith talk, Jose Altuve in the outfield, and then this Christian Walker talk. But Angel, before we get started, where can everybody find us? We are 2 subscribers away from 300.
There we go.
Please, if you are not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, make sure to hit that. We want to get to 300. We want to get to 500 at the end of the season. I think there's a great chance we can accomplish that before the season even starts. But let everybody know where they can follow us.
Absolutely. We are on X, TikTok, and YouTube at Full Steam Ahead. Instagram at FSA Full Steam Ahead. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Literally everywhere. YouTube's been hot and popping with uh, videos being posted daily. Keep up on social media for current news for the Astros. We got you covered. So tell your friends, tell your buddies, parents, family members, co-workers, exes, whoever you want to talk to, and tell them to be a part of us.
Did you just say exes? I see what you did there. Since it's rodeo season, exes live in Texas. Like I'm George Strait.
Of course.
But that lyric right there was from a Drake song. So
Yep.
didn't see that coming.
It's HYFR.
Yeah. Yes, that was Drake on the come up, basically. But nobody wants to talk about Drake. They want to hear about Cam Smith. So let's get that started. Get in the comments and let's get what you want to talk about with that going on. What do you think? Do you think he cracks the roster? How about opening day? Well, Cam Smith in 7 at-bats. He got 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 triple, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs with a .571 batting average, a .727 on-base percentage, and a 2.441 OPS. Like I said, very small sample size. That's why the OPS is really high right now, the on-base percentage, the batting average, all that type of stuff. But the biggest thing with a rookie coming into camp to show out is basically with the play discipline. Are you going to swing and chase? Are you going to take pitches right down the middle? And Cam Smith, really, with the opportunities that he's gotten, not talking about the defensive aspect, but the offensive aspect of the game, he's done really well. I mean, only 1 strikeout out of them 7 at-bats, which is really phenomenal. This is what Joe Espada had to say about Cam Smith. We got that video for you right now.
We're going to start with Cam Smith. Oh, man. Pretty impressive, was able to do how, he's able to put some good swings, some good pitches, hit for power. Obviously, I actually like the pitches that he lays off. The pitches on the edges, waits for the right pitch, and when he gets them, he's not missing them. Pretty impressive stuff.
For a young cat to impress your manager, especially with the play discipline, says a lot about the player and the offensive guy that he is at the plate. Of course, played some years at Florida State in college, went to the College World Series last year, if I'm not mistaken, with Florida State. So already impressing Joe Espada, especially with the discipline as a rookie, has opened his eyes, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the play discipline is something that stands out for Cam Smith because there's been plenty of guys throughout the years that come in spring training, just start hitting, but never make a case in the major leagues. I think one thing that stands out a few years ago, though, when we talked about Justin Durden, I don't know if you remember him, where he was, really hot in spring training, was hitting everything, yet never saw, any action in major leagues, and rightfully so, he had a terrible year that, in the minors there. So it's exciting to see a guy like that, but having that play discipline, getting those at bats, I think makes Cam Smith stand out than those Durdens or other players that have a great success in spring but can't tally it over to the majors.
Yeah, and Cam Smith too only has 120 something plus plate appearances in the minor leagues. And doing this at a professional level, yes, you're still seeing some minor league pitchers in some spring training games. You're seeing mix of both major and minor league players. But being able to just cut off the corners, hit the ball with power, especially this kid has a lot of power. Literally, that triple could have been a home run if it was inch over the wall. And to tell you the truth, too, at Dyken Park, that would not have been a home run. Because Dyken, I want to say, is 415 dead center.
Yeah, sounds about
so.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm in center field. I think at over there at the Cacti Ballpark is 409, I believe. But the way he's been hitting so far has really impressed the coaching staff. The power is there. I mean, Dana Brown mentioned it already so much that he has an aircraft carrier, the power, the contact. I see this kid as a 5-tool player. I don't know how the speed looks, but the way he's hitting the ball offensively, and then the defense, of course, going to be in the hot corner. He's supposed to play third base as well tomorrow against the Mets. That will be a night game as well. So if you didn't know nothing about that, it will be a night game at St. Port Lucie. But they even talked to him at the Astro line on Sports Talk 790 earlier today, and he said if his name is called, he's going to be ready. And that's what you love to hear from a guy like that. You know, when you get that opportunity, you want to do whatever it takes to show, like, this is why you traded for me. This is why you brought me up so early, is to show out and show you that I'm capable of playing at the big league level.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the perfect answer any organization wants to hear. You guys being ready at a moment's notice, because throughout the years you see honestly in every team, in every league, next man up. You know, injuries happen, especially in pitching staff. Like there's a big injury, like you said, for the Astros today, and someone's gonna have to step up and fill that void if it's a lengthy absence. So, I mean, that's something you want to hear as a manager, general manager, someone you traded could be one of the best 5-tool players in the game right now for this player. So, I mean, it's great positive vibes for Cam Smith.
Yeah, it's good to hear from something like that, especially the top prospect in this farm system. MLB Pipeline already put their top 100 prospects. They already updated the farm system for every team in Major League Baseball. Cam Smith, of course, is going to be your top guy. He is number 58 in the MLB Pipeline top 100 prospects, which the Astros haven't had a guy like that in a good while. I don't know if you want to really put Jacob Melton in the talk, because Jacob has always, I want to say, flirt around the high 80s, low 90s, or even the high 90s as well. But to finish that off, Bryce Matthews is second, Jacob Melton is third, Walker Yannick is fourth, and Zach DeZenzo is fifth. So more than likely, Zach DeZenzo is going to get some time in the big leagues this year. We'll have to see with Bryce Matthews. We have to see with Jacob Melton as well. We'll have some roster updates about him coming soon. But I'm going to give you two questions. The first question, of course, it says it right there. Can Cam Smith crack the roster this year? Right there. And then are you going to answer it? Yes, he's going to make the roster this season, or no? Give me your take on that.
I am still not convinced he'll be on the opening day roster. However, with the background of the Astros kind of bringing these guys in a little bit early, like Luis Garcia comes to mind, and then like a Jake Bloss, I do think the Astros will see Cam Smith in the Astros uniform. Fans will be able to see Cam Smith in the Astros uniform maybe mid-June. I know my original thought was maybe September call-ups, but the way he's been playing, the way the long season is, I think mid-June, or even could be maybe a little bit before, maybe in May or something. But I do think Cam Smith will be wearing an Astros uniform this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my first take was no, that he's not going to get called up. He'll probably be ready for 2026.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7 at bats. Yes, it's a very small sample size, but the way he's been hitting has shown, like, it's caught the coaching staff's eyes, I say. And if Joe Espada said that about him, then best believe that there's a great chance you're going to see him in June or July, like you said, maybe even August, I would say. But I think May is a little too early. I'd say more than likely like a June, July, August. Like you were saying, Jake Bloss made his debut before the trade deadline. Joey Luperfido is another guy that made his debut in June. Think about the other guys like Yordan Alvarez. Alex Bregman made his debut in August, if I'm not mistaken. Correa, July. So I could see something like that happening. In my opinion, though, yes, you would like to see him come up, but at the same time, too, you would like to see him develop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing for a young guy is at bats and playing time. Like these kids are not going to be able to grow on the bench just by looking, right? So I think getting enough, pitch recognition and swings, kind of timing for everything, I think that will all be beneficial for Cam Smith. So I don't think early on he's not going to be in a major roster, because Dubon's going to get first dibs, maybe Aguirre may at second base. Maybe a Brendan Rodgers might get, first dibs at second base. But if they cannot hit, like if they cannot do their job, then Cam Smith is there. Like, I know he's been playing third base a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up and starts playing second base for the Astros, or you can flip-flop him with Isaac Baez. Maybe, one day they get one at third, one at second. Just kind of moving them back and forth. But I don't know how Joe Espada is going to run that situation. But I wouldn't be surprised if either Cantu is playing third or second base around June for the Astros.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about with second base. Isak Paredes was taking
I saw that.
some feed from second, some infield fungo, and it was a time middle infield competition. Yeah. I just got it right now on Brian McTaggart's post. If you don't follow him, you could go on X and check out that video. But it shows the times of them getting those feeds in 3 different angles playing second base. Guillorme with a 4.25 seconds. Zach Short 4.09, and Isak Paredes was 4.07.
Yeah, he's quick hands.
So that's why I said if I don't agree with that, I think Cam Smith more would probably be third base.
Okay.
And plus, because he's a pretty athletic, tall build young man. The outfield part for me too is like you made a good point with second base. Does Mauricio Dubon continue to hit? Is Brendan Rodgers hitting? Is Luis Guillorme hitting? It just depends if they have the bat. And it just comes into play, too, if a Jake Myers doesn't hit really well. Chas McCormick doesn't hit very well. That's going to play a pivotal part of like, okay, and if Cam Smith is smoking the ball in the minor leagues, it just might give the Astros, like, you know what? Bring this kid up. We got to start playing like good baseball now, because at that time, too, you don't know if you're playing mediocre. You don't know if you're playing subpar. You don't know if you're playing like Astros baseball from these past seasons.
I don't. At this point, again, it can change later. At this point, I don't see Cam Smith as an outfielder, just because I think if, again, Jake Myers, Chas McCormick, or Dubon, who sees action in the outfield too, aren't hitting, I think Zach DeZenza is going to get that first shot over there. And he's been pretty good so far this spring, and I think he showed glimpses of how talented he is last year. So I think the Astros are going to give him every opportunity to succeed in the outfield. So I think Cam Smith is an outfielder. I mean, sorry, is an infielder, 100%. If a middle infielder out of the top 5 prospects can move to the outfield, I would say Bryce Matthews. He's a little bit more athletic. I'm not going to say athletic, but more quick on his feet, like those fast pivots, because he is coming from a shortstop. So if Zach DeZenza doesn't work out, I want to be surprised if Bryce Matthews sees some action, or even giving Jacob Milton a shot. But I think Jacob Milton has had like such a quiet spring too. I know he's kind of dealing with something too, so kind of like bad timing on his part.
Yeah, we'll talk about those roster updates here in a second. Let us know in the comments too what you think with Cam Smith, because I just don't see him as an outfielder. I mean, that's his best shot too, if you really think about it. If he's very athletic, he can make a role in the outfield, but I just see him as a corner infielder. You slide Isak Paredes to second base. That's really not a bad, show. Really, not even a bad infield. Yeah, Paredes already had made one error in one of these spring training games at third, but I think if that was to happen, if the Astros decided to bring up Cam Smith during this season, like in the middle part of the season, then you could see him more than likely, I would say, at third base.
Yeah, I can see it, but again, going back to the Isak Paredes error, it's early. Everybody makes errors. I'm not too worried about that. I know everybody's just. I think Astros fans just had been, spoiled with Alex Bregman's defense at third base, where now an error is going to be like, oh my God, this is not, Alex Bregman, obviously not, right? But I don't think Astros fans should panic or anything like that. Isak Paredes is going to hold it down at third base, this season.
Yeah, which brings me to my next point. After Tony Yayo's comment, Cam swings and runs like Correa. A lot of Carlos Correa comparisons. For Cam Smith. Which, when you look at his swing, you can see it, the follow through, and like he mentions, he runs like him too. But that was going to be to my next follow up second question. Which former Astro that was in the prospects in the farm system has been exciting than Cam Smith? Like former guys that was in the farm. Because I haven't seen a more hyped prospect from Cam Smith in a good freaking while for this Astros farm.
like recent, I would say maybe like a Correa or Bregman, but that makes sense because again, Correa was the number one pick overall. Bregman pick at 2. So I think whenever you get picks like that, they sign with your team. A lot of a lot of excitement builds up with those, like with the Astros, like with fans of the team. So I would say you hadn't seen like such excitement since like Bregman and Correa, just because they were drafted earlier on, like in the early rounds for the Astros.
Yeah, Cam Smith is a first rounder. He was picked
Mm-hmm.
14th by the Cubs this past MLB draft. But I'm agree with you. I think Correa is the one that's spot on. Even though yes, the comparisons do like him. Besides the comparisons, the way he swings the bat, the way he has his glove defensively, the range that he presents, the quickness that he does with, obviously fielding the ball and his arm as well. That like Correa had a cannon, and of course, I'm not saying Smith's arm is like Correa's arm, but the build, like I said, the build that they have, it shows. Like there's probably room for improvement for him to get his velocity up from his, from his throws from the corner to the other corner. But I think the last Astros prospect that was very hyped, and you can make a case for Bregman, you can make a case for Tucker too. I wouldn't say for Jordan, just for the fact that the Astros got him in a trade, and then he started getting on the move in 2019, and that's when fans were like, okay, like you see something with him in Corpus, then you see him in Round Rock, and that's when he made his debut in June. But I have to say Correa. That's like literally, besides the comparisons, the last time I've seen Astros fans hyped up about a prospect. You can make another case for Drew Gilbert, but Drew Gilbert was traded in that Justin Verlander trade.
Yeah, and again, it just makes sense for Correa just because he is that first rounder. So, first round pick. Whenever you have the first pick of the draft, I think the fan base is excited to make on around. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, you're telling me fans weren't hyped for Mark Appel? You're telling me fans weren't hyped about
How did you see? But they didn't. Yeah, I mean, one of them didn't sign. I think Brady Aiken didn't sign with the Astros.
Oh,
so.
yeah, another player right there.
Yeah.
Prospect. Domingo Santana, Teoscar Hernandez, JD Martinez. No one was hyped about those guys.
Probably. I don't know. How was a child back then? For JD Martinez.
Boy, you were not a child. You were
for JD Martinez.
You were probably a teenager.
Exactly. JD Martinez made his debut when we were like what? 13?
It had to be in high school. It had to be in high school. And look where those guys are at now. That they won World Series champions.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Santana. So, Josh Hader. Hader was a prospect with the Astros.
Yeah. Now he has his own bobblehead with flames all around.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a sweet one whenever that season, when the season comes. But Jose Altuve playing some left field finally got his start. Whenever we had talked about in the last episode, he was gonna get a start. I believe it was in Friday, if I'm not mistaken. But
was it rain delay?
Was it?
Oh, what was it? The rain?
No, that was Thursday's game.
Oh, Thursday.
Friday. So Friday, yeah, first start in left field, got no action. You got to feel bad for the guy. I'm pretty sure he's antsy, he's anxious, he's ready to go, bouncing around, doing. Hey, we got 2 outs, Jake. 2 outs.
Easy day at the office.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of an outfielder, right? Tell me about it, right?
Absolutely.
No action, just telling Jake Myers and Chas McCormick we got 2 outs. We got 1 out, got the cut, all that type of stuff. Not one ball hit his way, and that was very, very sad for him because he wanted to get some action. But his second start on Sunday, Altuve's first play, some action, finally ready to go. Got a grounder to him. Pass shortstop. Boyd comes up, does a little curl hop, throws it at home. Pass to Victor Caratini at home plate, which can't do nothing about it. Ball got away, and it was ruled a throwing error on Altuve.
Oh man, first throw, first error.
If you're in his shoes, what are you thinking? Like, shit, I'm already making a bad impression.
And I was like, all right, next time hit the cut.
Yeah, next time we're gonna get it. But he was just trying to show off that arm strength that he has. That people be doubting him and all that. He's like, nah, I got it. I got a cannon. But 7th inning comes along, and a ball was hit to the warning track, and we're just gonna show you the video of him tracking this ball down. That's how you know he was excited. Look at
That's what I'm about to
he caught
say.
the ball, like put the glove and the ball in the air, and then after that gets his hat, tips his cap. I mean,
Yeah. He's having fun out there for sure. Yeah.
one more replay at that because that's a tough catch to make, especially with the
Absolutely.
wind and the sun. Look, real quick. Shit. We missed it. We got to. Okay, here we go. He's making that like nonchalant dog. Like he's making that pointed to the bullpen like, yeah, I got this.
Absolutely.
Throws it in. Gives Jake Myers a little, hey, we got 2 outs, tip of the hat.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's a tough play, but not just because of the wind, the sun, but as an outfielder, as you're running, there's like a mental clock in your brain of how many, when you look back, you kind of know where you're at. So in that mental clock, you know that fence is near. You're supposed to reach out your arm a little bit, and you know you're gonna brace for impact, but you still got to make that catch. And he did a really great job of holding on, securing that out, and obviously soft contact with the wall. But yeah, it just shows he's having fun out there. I kind of like the tip of the cap how you're mentioning to the dugout, saying like, "Hey, I can do this." This ain't that hard. So more to come for Jose Altuve in left field, and I think it just goes to show that he's committed to it. It's not like, since this information came out, the key is that Altuve went to the Astros for this, and he shows that wherever he's at, he's gonna be putting on a show for his teammates, himself, his family, and the fans for sure.
Yeah, he was hustling for that ball. Just he had a good jump on it first off too. But he even said like whenever in his post game interview, he was telling the media that the bullpen was telling him like you got room, basically helping him out there just to give him some room that he's able to catch it and not bang into the wall real hard. But when it comes to regular season games, if he's playing left field, he's not going to really have that help from those guys in left. So something different whenever that time comes. But like you were saying, he's having fun. He's like very intrigued and very focused on improving himself in left. And I think that's good. That's just showing you of a leader that he is too, saying, I did say I've been playing second base, but he's going to see majority, I would say, some games in left.
I think so. I think the Astros are going to be committed to Jose Altuve in left. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Smith is turning it up in AAA and makes a bit in the airfield. You might see full-time left field for Jose Altuve.
Yeah, and this is from March 3rd. This is per Matt Kawahara from the Houston Chronicle. He had mentioned on a tweet, Joe Espada said, if we commit to left field with Jose Altuve, the plan is that he'll get more starts there in left field than second base during the regular season. Espada said that moving Altuve back and forth is something that he's going to avoid, which I do understand that.
Not everybody can be a Mauricio Dubon or a Marwin Gonzalez where they can just be put anywhere. This is kind of going back to Jordan Alvarez being comfortable in the batting order, just wanting one spot, not to be moved back around. Same thing with the input. Like you want to be in one position, knowing that no matter what you're penciled in the lineup, you're going to be playing that one position, have gloves ready, do what you got to do, to be there.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he'll still get some starts at second base in spring training, but I don't think so. You don't think so?
Not in spring training. Maybe in the regular season, just because.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't see maybe 2 starts, 3 starts at second base.
He knows how to play second base. It's more like getting as much reps as possible in left. Getting just trying to see any possible spin or wind readings or sun readings or situational plays. Like if there's runners on, what do I do? Just kind of getting all the fields for left. I'd say spring training is going to be nothing but outfield for Jose Altuve. I'll be really surprised if he plays second base in spring training. Now, in the regular season, that's a different story, right? Regular season, he will play some second base, but in the spring training, it's all going to be outfield.
I can see maybe 1 or 2 games.
Okay.
That's where I see with that. Because you still got to get a feel for the infield just in
Sure.
case you got to play some games in the infield. So
Sure.
that's why I
Fair.
think he could get maybe 1 or 2 starts there. But I could see too him getting a lot of starts. I would say he'll probably get more starts in left field than second base this upcoming season. Like I wouldn't be shocked about that.
Yeah. I think that's you know, the way Joe Espada is kind of saying this quote, it's saying it makes it seem that they're still deciding on what to do with Jose Altuve,
Mhm.
either putting him in second left field, but I just don't think he wants to reveal his hand too much.
Yeah.
Early in the spring, I didn't want to be 100% sure that Jose Altuve can play left field. It's not a liability out there, so they're not going to commit to anything yet. It's still early, but I think that's where it's trending to.
Yeah, Dana Brown, I believe on Foul Territory TV, had also said the same thing that they are yet to commit on Jose Altuve playing some left field, like playing full time left field. But like you're saying, they're guys that are not trying to give the upper hand to other opponents, and they're just gonna do what they can just to get Altuve to develop more games in left and get that familiarity and that comfortability in left. And I would say even too his confidence. I think
Mhm.
seeing that catch and actually, let's show this video too of this because this one's a very difficult catch, especially when a lefty is hitting.
Oh, that's slice for sure.
Yes, definitely. Let's check it out. We'll replay it one more time because, like, worries me a little just seeing that, like, at the last second, he's like, okay, like, I have to pull my hand to the
Yeah.
other side of it.
No, yeah. He'll quickly learn because I know I've been on the wrong side of this. Is whenever there's a lefty uh, on the base, you don't drift to the spot. Like you try to beat the ball where it's gonna land, just because it does tend to like kind of slice a little
Mhm.
bit
Yeah.
off the bat. So again, it's just learning process. There's gonna be some up and downs this spring for you might see catches like that from Jose Altuve just because he's still getting into position. But yeah, he'll quickly learn when it's a lefty on there. You get to the spot first. You don't drift because that's when it makes it harder to catch.
Yeah, that especially for a lefty, and we've talked about this a lot of times, talking about Altuve being in left field. When it's a line drive, that's going to be tricky to read, I would say, for him.
Mhm.
I mean, it's going to be kind of like a split second of like, do I dive and make an attempt to make an amazing catch, like a diving catch, or do I just one hop it and just let it hit in front of me instead of it going all the way to the wall left?
Mhm.
So that's one
And,
thing you got to be smart about.
and then, like this is why I'm saying that I think I'll be surprised if we see it like any second base this spring, just because of a place like that. Just trying to get the growing pains out. Just getting a feel for everything that's to come. Like I want to. I'm sure he's getting all different types of balls and like by coaches, different angles, different things just to get ready. But yeah.
Just imagine too, like if like how offense you have DH. Imagine if there was like something like that for defense specifically. Like, okay, Altuve doesn't want to hit, so we're just gonna let him play a bunch of defense in
Man,
that. And somebody come up for him.
I think the best part of baseball is hitting, so I don't see that coming real soon.
But
I
that's
don't
like
see
saying,
it.
like you said with the infield with Altuve. Altuve knows how to bat.
Yeah,
You guys want a batting
that's
title,
different.
silver. Okay, how is that different? He's a silver slugger, a batting title champion, an MVP. He knows how to swing a bat.
Of course.
That's
I've
like
done it.
saying he knows how to play second base.
Does.
So that's what I'm saying. So we're in agreement right there.
Okay, I guess you can say that.
Oh, okay, I guess. There we go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll still get some more starts in the outfield, specifically more in left field. But let us know in the comments what you think of. Do you feel comfortable with Altuve playing in left field? Do you see him playing more games in left than second base? Do you see a start in second base? Do you see him starting more at second base? Let us know in the comments because we want to hear from you all. And moving to the Astros injury updates, there hasn't been a lot. Sean Dubin, I haven't gotten any word about. Same thing with Caleb Bort as well. A huge one, I will say, for the Astros, if it's going to be significant, it is going to be Christian Walker, just the newly acquired first baseman that the Astros signed in the offseason. He was scratched from today's lineup with left oblique soreness. And this is from Brian McTaggart. Christian Walker came to Astros manager Joe Espada during batting practice and reported left oblique soreness. He will be seen by team doctors. And Joe Espada had said this in the post game after. He said, quote, "It's something I don't want to see right now. I'm just hoping for the best," Espada said. You can see that interview, that post game interview on our YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it yet, subscribe to it and make sure to do all that good stuff. But the team will know more tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Thursday, then we'll have an update today. But this is huge. This is very huge because Walker has dealt with a left oblique injury last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and this put him out, I want to say a month and a half, or 2 months. So this is, I will say this is very huge for the Astros, because if Christian Walker isn't, like, if he's not ready, and then next thing you know, they'll say, well, he won't be ready for opening day, because, like I said, oblique injuries are very tricky to diagnose. You don't know the severity of it. It's like Altuve too in September of last year, getting closer to the postseason. He had some type of tightness in his oblique, and he only missed a couple of games, if not even maybe one or two, or not even none. If this is something huge, is this going to be a big loss heading into the season?
Absolutely. I guess, like, if it is huge, absolutely, because it kind of delays Christian Walker coming into the season. He might need some rest in AAA just to get back to major league timing and getting all his reps in. But I do want to say there's hope, because it's spring training now. I'm just speculating here because obviously we don't have the correct information yet, but it could be where he felt something, and before it gets serious or before it turns into something more severe, he could have just said, "Hey, I'm not gonna, hurt myself more for a scrimmage game. I'm just gonna go say, hey, I can't play right now. I got some soreness here," before it gets worse. Now, in the regular season, that's kind of different because players tend to play through things, right? So yes, they feel a little soreness. I'm fine. I can still swing some bats, and kind of tend to hurt themselves even more. So I think the fact that it happened in spring training could be just a precautionary for Christian Walker, just so knowing that he had his injury in the past, doesn't want to overextend himself, and instead of being out a few days, he's out a month, right? So I'd say there's hope, but I guess we just have to wait and see if, what the doctors say and what the Astros say.
Yeah, he was seen by team doctors, like Angel said. We don't have any news or updates on that. But like you were mentioning, it was kind of a good thing that he had said it during band practice. He felt it, and he basically went to a spot and told him, "Hey, not feeling too good in my left side. I'm not. I don't feel like I'm comfortable at the plate to play a 9-inning game and kind of rupture it or tear it more." So that was a good sign on him. But at the same time, too, if you look at the replacements at first base, if that's what I'm saying, speculate. If something happens and it's month that he's going to be out, then you look at John Singleton, which a lot of the media was saying that he came into camp pretty shredded. Dude is cut apparently, which is very good on his end. And then that's really your first base replacement. You can go with Victor Caratini. You could go with Mauricio Dubon. You could throw a little bit of Yainer Diaz in there. You could throw a little bit of Zach DeZenzo over there as well.
Don't forget Paredes either.
Who?
Isaac Paredes.
Has he played first base?
Remember, if the Astros were going to bring Bregman in third, Isaac Paredes was an option at first base.
That is very true. But I don't think he has played first base in his major league career. But if anybody, I think John Singleton would make a good replacement. I think the spring training results haven't really shown as much as of right now, but I mean, I think the Astros are pretty comfortable with putting him at first base. Offensively, though, you probably would want to put Zach DeZenzo over there at first.
Yeah, I think John Singleton needs to be. It's all consistency with him, and the power's there. Like, you've seen him hit some towering home runs, but it's just putting the ball in play, reducing the strikeouts a little bit. But I do think I know if this injury would have to happen again in a major like in mid-season, where Christian Walker's struggling with this oblique, and we're looking at maybe a May date or a June date, he, the options open up, especially if Cam Smith is doing great. We start by as the first base for a little bit, some time there. Cam Smith out there, so I think as of right now, they're hoping for the best for Christian Walker, but this is gonna be their first baseman for 3 years because that's it. But it's just I think the Kyle Tucker trade kind of opened some doors for this infield now with Cam Smith.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. Um, First base though, like if it's a huge loss, which we're like we said, we're speculating here, then that's where the platoon comes in with those guys.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say Nolan Arenado would be in the mix
Nah,
if
I don't
like I
think
said,
so.
like no, that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be in the mix if they say Walker is going to miss some time, um, because you already see what Cam Smith gives you. So
Mhm.
really, to me, in my opinion, you wouldn't even have to go after Arenado. But like first base, you will probably majority of the time you will have a platoon. Whoever has the hot bat, I would say as well, um, get the upper hand at on the other side of the corner.
And I think a little bit more, like I'll talk about this injury. I do agree with you when you say either Caratini or Yanni or Diaz kind of save the legs a little bit, especially now since it seems that Gordon Alvarez is going to be mostly commanding the DH spot.
Mhm.
You know, the past 2 years, the Astros like to mix and match the DH spot to give, Yanni Diaz a break or, Caratini some action here or there. So that first base for those catchers might be coming handy so they're not squatting the whole game, just kind of rest up the legs a little bit.
Yeah, they have a lot of versatility, and I think that's really good for Houston. Now you have Altuve that can play the outfield. Mauricio Dubon, you can play him at second or center and right. You got DeZenzo now. He can play the outfield. He plays the corners, first base and third base. Esau Paredes could go from third to second. I mean, you have a lot of options. And I think that's a great sign for the Astros, at least as a roster aspect. You could put
Absolutely.
Caratini from catcher to first base. If you really want to carry a third catcher, you could bring up Cesar Salazar. Like there's a lot of things that's really good about this roster. I just, in my opinion, yes, Jake Myers has swung and hit a home run today, but for him and Chas McCormick, they really have to be
Yeah.
like offensive minded this season. And of course, Jake is gonna. I believe Jake's gonna be in the lineup because of his glove, and that's very understandable. But they do need a bat that can sufficiently hit consistently every game or every other game.
Yeah, the Astros don't need Jake Myers to be a 300 guy.
Mhm.
They just need him to be consistent. Like if he can hit 260, 250, scratching the little RBIs here and there, show some pop. I think it'll be a successful season. But then but if they get the Jake Myers batting 220 or, you know, just by the Mendoza line, I think that's where you kind of scratching your head. It's like, well, maybe they need to uh, make some moves there. Same thing with Chaz. Like again, they're not asking for Chaz to be a 300 hitter, maybe a 280, 270 for him.
Yeah.
With some pop. I think you can't leave it all to the 1 through 6 guys. As you can see last year, there was points of games where it's like you knew the Astros bottom of the order was not going to do anything. Like if the top of the order didn't do it, the bottom of the order was not going to do it. So I think just being a security blanket to those 1 through 6 guys is Chaz's job, Myers' job, whoever's out like down there with them too, just to kind of show that this is a deep 1 through 9 lineup and not just a 1 through 6 and the rest are easy out. So that's what I think. I feel like they need to change the narrative on that a little bit. I think this is time to step up.
Yeah. Pitchers are looking good though too, as of right now. Hunter Brown getting close to 60 pitches. Framber Valdez pitching. I think he already had 2 starts as well. Spencer Rigetti with him, if he can get I think he's just trying to pitch too perfectly and he's just too antsy on the mound. If he can just be tranquilo, if he can just be calm, I think Spencer will just do just fine. Lance McCullers threw his first live BP, so that's some bright spots in this rotation. Of course, they won't see him for you won't see Lance until maybe like I predicted probably late May for
Mhm.
him to begin his 2025 season. Ronel Blanco, what I've read that he's looking to lower his walk rate. He
Of course.
I would say he was averaging about 3, 4, or 5 walks a game, depending on how his command was going.
Yeah, it's the he would go into innings with high pitch counts too. So I think reducing the walks reduces the pitch count too.
Yeah, Hader Wozniacki is another guy that looked really well. That's why I said that kid has a lot of swing and miss stuff. Strikeout rate's going to be really good. Strikeout to walk ratio, that's going to be amazing. And then another kid, Logan Van Way, continuing doing what he's doing. Forrest Whitley did give up a home run to Luke Baker today, but I don't see it as a huge disadvantage for him.
Sure. But we do have some Astros roster updates. Just like kind of football. When they have to cut to the 53 roster, the Astros got to make some cuts too to minor league camp. And it's not really like just cuts. It's more like giving them some time to get ready. For whenever they're needed. So Houston reassigned outfielder Jacob Melton, who Lorenzo just said earlier is a third ranked prospect. Infielder Tommy Sacco Jr., Miguel Palma, Aaron Brown, and Jose Flaherty, who is their 18th ranked prospect according to MLB prospect ranking. So Jacob Melton being kind of cut early on. I think he was dealing with an injury, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, he was dealing with some back issues.
Yeah, so
he wasn't fully 100%.
Yeah, so I think it's just to get him, for him to take his time. He still has a position to battle for. I think he'll still get his opportunity when the time comes. And right now, the Astros just hope he gets ready.
Yeah, that's all you can really do. And don't be surprised. Like, this is a Cam Smith episode, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be surprised if he gets reassigned, because it's going to happen. That happened to Joey Lupafito. That happened to Justin Durden. Durden the other year before. There's some hot prospects that come out into spring training really good, but at the same time, they got to prepare for minor league camp. It's going to be interesting for me where they're going to put Smith. Is he going to be a double-A Corpus Christi guy, or is he going to be a triple-A Sugarland guy? Because he had just I want to say 5 or 6 games in double-A last year with the Cubs. So if he continues to hit like this, I wouldn't doubt he could go to AAA, but I have a gut feeling that he's gonna be starting his year in AA.
Yeah, I say AA. He's still young. Get consistent reps, but he might be. If he continues to hit in AA very quickly, I'm sure the Astros will put at least to AAA, like pretty quickly. Just so especially the way that if the season folds, if the bats aren't what they hope for, I can see that going on for sure.
Definitely.
But moving on to around the horn, kind of a little early today in the 48-minute mark.
I'm happy about it. I'm trying to be now.
We have an unusual injury from St. Louis camp. Cardinals' Jordan Walker was tracking a fly ball when he steps on the sprinkler head and had to be checked by doctors after that. So they need to make sure those sprinklers are up and down, because especially when you're looking up and all of a sudden something hits you in the foot or you trip on something that can lead to a gruesome injury. It seems that I think he avoided something long term, but just to keep an eye on that. And yeah, so I'm sure all 30 teams are checking their sprinkler heads before tomorrow's spring training workouts.
Just imagine if that happened actually on the job. You better best believe you're getting workers' comp.
Oh,
You better get workers' comp if that shit does happen to you.
Or someone just lost their job too for not making sure they were done. So
Right.
Yeah, especially a top prospect like Jordan Walker too. So obviously, Astros fans are aware that not all spring training games are televised, just because Altuve's first game in the outfield was not televised. Well, there was a televised game between, I believe, I know it was the Phillies versus
Tigers.
There you go. And Jesus Estrada was pitching, who I think the Phillies have a lot of eyes on, because that's one of the guys they traded for. He's shown really promise throughout the major leagues. Well, is in a bases loaded jam, throws a changeup. One of the players hits it out. Next pitch, throws a slider. The Tigers player hits it out. Then a fastball. 3 straight pitches. 3 straight home runs. While Phillies manager Ron Thompson was on call with ESPN, he had the headset on. You know, before the first home run, they were talking it up, and after that, it was like crickets. As he watched his players surrender 3 back-to-back home runs on 3 pitches.
It sounded like what?
Crickets.
Nah. There had to be it. It had to be it. He had to put the damn
nice.
soundboard on.
That was nice. Yeah, that was nice. I like that. But talk about you know what? Honestly, shout out to Ron Thompson, because after the second one, I would have taken the headphones off and just left it there.
Hey, I gotta go.
Yeah,
Choose them up, but no.
I got a pitcher to talk to, and then all you see is
Yeah, there's no way you're talking mess to your pitcher in this.
no, yeah, no.
It's like an umpire throwing out a player, which that has happened with the same team too, with the Phillies. JT Realmuto.
He got thrown out. I didn't see that.
Yes,
Right.
he went like this for a ball, and he didn't give him a ball.
Oh, I remember that was.
I
think you meant this year. I remember that.
No, I just said like just getting thrown out of spring training. That doesn't necessarily mean this year.
Yeah, but I remember that.
Yeah. So
the oh my gosh movement is over in New York as Jose Iglesias signs a minor league deal with the Padres. But what a run! What a run Jose Iglesias had with the Mets, from singer to playing in a playoff game to almost going to the World Series. So shout out to that oh my god movement. You got the song for us or what?
no, but
You're having
fans feel though right now. I bet you.
I don't think they do. They just got Juan Soto. There
So
you go. There you go.
nah, I feel bad for them. They're losing. I'd say, like, honestly, Francisco Lindor was the MVP for that team, but Jose Iglesias bringing that movement, bringing the energy, bringing the vibes. It changes the team's, it changes the presence of that clubhouse. It gets everybody going. The energy's going. And you saw it. The Astros lost to him. I think it was on Apple TV. And next thing you know, they had a concert after the game. And he was the main one singing it. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's not brutal, but it's tough if you're a Mets fan to see him go away, because you would like to have him back for this season.
Yeah, he's trying to get that movement ready in San Diego now with the with Tijuana.
Hey, that's a great city to play and be with that song.
Absolutely. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see if they play that song a little bit more often over there.
And like Lorenzo said, the WBC is exactly a year away. I had told you earlier that Nicaragua qualified. So did Chinese Taipei. And now we got some more teams qualifying. Colombia qualifies after going undefeated in the WBC tourney in Arizona. Now, Thursday, Germany and Brazil will play to get the final qualifying spot. So check out MLB Network to watch that game. Like, it's gonna be good. Like, Germany and Brazil, teams you would never thought being in WBC are now battling for one spot. So pretty phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of WBC, we had said it earlier on the show. For Dyken Park, it's a year from now. WBC is going to be here, and the teams that will be at Dyken Park will be Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and the U.S. So I think it's going to be vibes are going to be
immaculate. Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. First time that Dyken Park is hosting a WBC game. It's going to be electric. I know fans are going to they're going to be excited.
Absolutely. And we told you that college baseball is up and running, and it's been phenomenal. Well, I don't know if you missed, but George Mason scored 23 runs in 1 inning. And it was after the first batter got out, and after that, all hell broke loose. And they did it by not hitting a single home run or a single triple. It was all singles, doubles, hit by pitches, and walks. Like, that's I invite you to go watch. There's videos of all 23 runs scored. I invite you to go see it. It's pretty phenomenal stuff.
How long is that video though?
It's probably literally 10 minutes, I think. I mean, 20.
A
23.
10-minute. I am not fixing to
20
watch a 10-minute
Well,
video from 22
imagine
for everyone.
20. I'm sure there's a faster video of all the hits, just back to back. But
You
I mean,
gotta feel for that the opposing team. Like if I'm in the infield, I'm like, God bless. You had to be on the field for specifically that inning
yeah,
over 30 minutes to an hour.
I'm over there shaking my head. Like, what's going on, bro? Like,
I can't do that to my team, but I'd be like, WTF? Like, well, what is going on right now? Like, why can't we not get out of this inning?
yeah,
So no, yeah, college baseball, SEC baseball specifically, like you had mentioned.
dude, Tennessee is on fire, bro.
Tennessee is on fire. A&M lost to UTSA. If you're a road runner, shout out to y'all. Florida lost to UCF. Tennessee, though, almost, I think it was like 10-9 against Bradford or Radford, one of them names.
And then they hit 3 grand slams in the game.
So that's why they're the number 1 team in the nation.
Number 2,
who's number 1 now?
LSU.
I thought LSU lost to North Dakota State.
Yeah, but it's it takes a week for the rankings.
Yeah, I know. But that team as well, LSU lost to that.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee outranks them next week.
They're national champions for a reason.
Yeah.
They're national champions for a reason.
Yeah.
Can't do nothing about that.
That is it? Unless you have something else?
No, that is it for the show. Probably be done by an hour. We do have one comment before we end. Division favorites, National League, the Dodgers, Braves, and Cubs. AL, Astros, Yankees, and Twins. Which of these teams do you think will fall off at the end of the season?
Oof.
It's a great question, honestly.
Honestly, I say Astros and Yankees.
Man, it's hard for me because the Twins did that already last year. I don't see them. I don't see them falling off back-to-back seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen.
Red Sox, I say take that.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox have a good squad, but just talking about these teams, I could potentially see the Braves, and I could see the Yankees.
Yeah,
Possibly
the Phillies have a good team. Mets, Juan Soto.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, which of these teams will fall off at the end of the season? I'm between the Braves for sure in the National League, just for the fact, like you were mentioning, the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves last season, they weren't healthy. So going into this season, they're going to try to be all healthy. And of course, injuries happen. And then the other one for me is like between the Astros and Yankees. I don't know how, because the Astros were playing literally 2 games up, 1 game up, 3 games up at the end of the season in September. And then Yankees, you never know what can happen. Injuries can be a play. For instance, right now, Giancarlo Stanton, I don't know what's his update. But that team too, you got Cody Bellinger. You still got some fairly good guys on that team, but
yeah,
tough division.
Yeah, you got the Orioles running a battle, Red Sox in a battle too. So
yeah. Blue Jays, you can't forget about them. Rays, of course, as well. So I don't know. Twins, you never know with the Twins too. But like I said, just after last season, I wouldn't expect that to happen, especially if Carlos Correa is their captain over there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll allow that.
No, I don't see that happening either. But that is the end of our show. Hopefully, we did get them 2 subscribers for 300. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, majority of our audience is on Twitter. We will appreciate if you go onto the YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell. Then you get our notifications from the post-game interviews throughout this spring training. You do not want to miss. We already have the interviews out from today from Joe Espada and Hunter Brown. So go check that out. See how they're doing. Update with Joe on the Walker injury. Jeremy Pena as well. We didn't get to talk about him. He his first home run of the spring today. So maybe that power is back. I think that's what the Astros really need for him, is to have his bat be consistent throughout this regular season. If they could get 2022 World Series MVP Jeremy Pena back, I mean, the lineup will look very different. So yeah, go check that out. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, like we already mentioned, make sure you hit it. And on social media, of course, you already see us on X, Instagram, full FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. We are on TikTok and from our podcast platform, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you go download that episode. Make sure you give us a rate, give us a review, 5-star, 4-star, 1-star, whatever star you want to give us. We appreciate at least some comments on the feedback, how we're doing, and all that good stuff. Next week will be a different episode. I don't know if we'll do a live one, but we'll be looking to doing something different. So just a heads up on our end. It might not be a Wednesday night episode. It might be a day episode. We'll keep everybody informed. But stay tuned to that, and we'll just keep you updated through this week to next. Angel, anything else before we sign off?
No, just thank you for listening again. We had a pretty nice crowd. Not as nice as last time. So keep telling your friends about us. Make sure we log in. We'll always check favorite our tweets so you know what time we're recording exactly. But it was a great show, great crowd. Peace.
Yes, most definitely.
Come back next week.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll be on the golf course. You never know where you can find us. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. But until then, y'all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend, and we will talk to y'all soon.